First of all, it was always going to be exciting. Bristol City women against Liverpool at Ashton Gate. But when you see talk of record crowds, 4,000 and counting, just how excited are you and the players for this weekend's game?
Yeah, it's something that we've been looking forward to since the last time we were at Ashton Gate. It was a big event then for us to get a new group of players on the pitch in front of, at that point, a big fan base, and then to be able to beat the league record and above. That's really big for the players, and we want to make sure that we make the fans proud about that. Off the back of last weekend's result, even bigger, I think, is that we want to get back playing our way, performing well, and put both that on the pitch together with having lots of Bristol people shouting for us. I think that's going to be a really big occasion and something we're looking forward to.
Yeah, you'd won 5 games in a row, and by all accounts, unlucky not to get something from your trip to Sheffield last weekend.
Yeah, it was a difficult game. There was a few situations in the game that didn't go our way, and then once they got the set play goal, they disrupted us from that point onwards, and closed us out really well in the second half. So I think we're disappointed because we've been able to win gritty before, but this time didn't happen that way around. But we were searching until the last moment. But fair play to Sheffield, they did disrupt us. They stopped the play. They slowed everything down. They completely stopped us getting any chances, and that was what it ended up with, really. And I think there's a big moment in the first half where Aimee Palmer went down injured and had to come off early. That really affects us. She's our captain, she's our leader. Our play goes through her. As in terms of what happens on the pitch and off, she's huge part of that. So it knocked us. We haven't had to deal with that situation before this season. So yeah, it took us out of the game for probably 20 minutes, and then towards the half time we did start getting back into it, but like I said, Sheffield stopped us then from that point onwards. So it was a frustrating one, but that's why we're even more driven to make sure the performance is right this Sunday.
Will she be fit for Sunday?
No, unfortunately not. She has taken quite a bit of impact there, so she's probably be out for the rest of the season, but looking towards next season now for her, unfortunately.
And in terms of Liverpool, they could secure the championship on Sunday, so that must obviously you just want to win the game, but it would be nice to just delay their party a little bit, wouldn't it? Yeah,
definitely. That's something we've already, came up when we were straight back in, is that they can win the league at our venue, which nobody wants. Ultimately, they've had a great season, so fair play to them to get to this point so early on with so many games left to play and being able to get to this position. So they've had a really strong season. They deserve it, but we just don't want them to deserve it in our house.
Yeah, we were hoping this would almost be a title decider, and it's not quite, but there's so many positives, and already you must be looking forward to next season and having a real go at that title.
Yeah, I think we've possibly surprised ourselves in terms of where we've ended up. That'd be just in terms of looking at the league, but actually when we look back at the games that we haven't won or we've drawn, we're frustrated the fact that we didn't. It wasn't like there was miles between us and anybody else. So there's some frustrations about where we've dropped points, knowing that we could be in a better position right now, and absolutely that goes into next year's preparation now, so that we don't make those mistakes, or we finish off those games well next season. And we want more now, so certainly next season as well.
And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the WSL clubs were keeping an eye on Abi. Are you confident you can hold on to her for next season?
Yeah, she's signed a new contract with us, so she'll be with us next year. So she's certainly a fan favourite. She is an exceptional leader as well within the group, so she'll be wearing the armband this week. And a top goal scorer. I mean, what more do you want? She's driven, she's ambitious, she's passionate, and you see that in every day that she does something. So yeah, we're really, really pleased to have her with us next year as well.
And there might just finally be one or two people who've not seen you in action before. What's your message to them as they come and watch you on Sunday?
Be loud, get behind us, enjoy it, and then make sure you come and say hello at the end of the game, because players are really, really behind our fans, and make sure that, you know, we're thankful that they're there, but, you know, hopefully we can scare Liverpool a bit by making sure that the crowd is behind us from minute one, and hopefully we'll give you plenty to sing about, but if not, sing for us, and hopefully we'll get behind you instead.
Nice to catch up. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Hi Lauren, nice to meet you.
Hello.
And congratulations on a great season so far. How have you enjoyed being back at the club?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been fond for me since I left. I loved every minute before, and I've been able to experience lots of different roles here. Coming back was definitely like coming back home, and it is that type of club, and you know, I'm sure people say that quite often, but you know, it is one club. We are in the same building as the men's team, the academy. We work together, we share resources, and we speak often, and those things are different to any other environment I've been in before. So it's excellent, and to know that the club as a whole is behind everything that you do, you know, no one else has that.
I was going to ask, how important has that been, kind of the support that the club has given you in supporting the women's team? I know Nigel Pearson has been very vocal about it in his interviews before.
Yeah, that is the difference, really. You know, in terms of how it feels here, and how the players feel, and how the staff do as well. You know, he comes and watches our sessions. I've been in and watched theirs. He supports the girls. He knows all their names, and you know, I think the fact that there's a genuine interest across the clubs teams, is different, and something that you can't buy. You can't find anywhere else. It has to happen because people want it to, and that is the difference. It's genuine, and I love that, and that's what's part of what's driven us to this point. Is actually you step in the building and everybody wants you to do well, and you believe it. So you know, you've got to do it for everyone that's here.
How often do you chat with Nigel about tactics and things going forward, and your plans, and kind of vice versa?
Tactics probably across the two teams are quite different. You know, in terms of us understanding each other's, you know, when I went in a couple of weeks ago, we sat through a game plan and review because they had a busy week. So I was in there with them, discussing the whys they were doing things, and how they were going to beat their next opponent. So we speak about it as in terms of each team that we lead. There's not really a cross in terms of that side of things, but it's great to understand, you know, coach to coach and manager to manager. That's always something that's great to share.
Yeah, it's great. Imagine you can pick his brains and he can pick yours too.
Yeah, I think there's some. We've got different situations at the moment. You know, I think, you know, where they're at in terms of performances is difficult for him and the team. But obviously, you know, we're here and we're one club, so we talk about, you know, everything, and that's not just the pitch stuff. It's what goes on in and around the building. How we lead things, what recruitment looks like. So it's not just necessarily what happens out on a pitch. It's more, it's bigger than that.
And just going back to the attendance this weekend, Liverpool 4,100 and counting. I saw seven years ago the average attendance for a WSL 2 game was 341. So that must give you some real pride, knowing that so many people are turning out, and the kind of the development of the women's game in general.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for us in particular at Bristol, is we've always had quite a good fan base, and some fans that have been with us for many, many years across different venues and different badges almost as well. And that's really important, that we, you know, are still making those people proud. But then also now we're back in Bristol, we're playing at Ashton Gate this week, but we're playing at HPC week in, week out. Those things, to be able to get our fans back behind us in our city is really big. So, you know, it's great to have it growing, but credit to the club and everybody that works at doing that, because it doesn't just happen. It's because the product is really good when they turn up here and enjoy the atmosphere. And that's the biggest thing I think that's different between a men's and a women's game, is the atmosphere at games, you know, in terms of the family feel. So if anybody hasn't been to one before in terms of watching women's football, then I'd really urge them to get behind us this weekend.
Talking in more like general terms, how kind of big has the growth been since you've kind of stepped into the game? I think back in your first job at Bristol City was back in 2010, am I right?
You probably know better than me, but yeah.
So just in general terms, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's grown in leaps and bounds, really, and that's across everything. So you've got the support in terms of people turning out to watch games, and you can see that with the Chelsea selling out week in, week out. But also the infrastructure is a lot better. You've got support staff. There's more players under contract, more players that are professional in both leagues, and I think it all feeds itself, because if the product isn't great, people won't come and watch. But the standard of football, the standard throughout both leagues, and you can see it with the cups this year. For example, going to Reading and beating Reading for us was a huge moment, to make sure that we're moving in the right direction in terms of performances. But yeah, everything's growing, and rightly so. And that's where we want to keep going. And look, we hit the record now, but that's not going to be us stopping. When it goes to next year, we're always going to want more.